Hello. So we're going to be talking about more with WebEx, particularly about the sharing and how that looks and what you can do inside a meeting with sharing content and interacting with people inside the meeting. Okay. So I'm going to start a meeting. I have two choices on mine. One's the web apps, one the desktop app. I'm going to start mine with the web app this time, and I'm just going to click start a meeting. So this is not scheduling one. This is just starting one, which will ultimately go to your personal room. So I'm just going to start a meeting so that I can hop in and show you guys how this all works. Okay. You can unmute yourself. Sometimes hosts will set it up so when you come in, you are muted to start off the bat. That usually is because they want people muted and not coming in with all the noise and whatnot if they forget to mute themselves. And I'm going to stop video here so I'm not staring at myself twice when I'm displaying this. And I'm going to start a meeting. Okay. As soon as I start that meeting, you'll notice on the bottom of my screen, I get all of these different things that pop up. Okay, as the host of the meeting. And even within a meeting, as the participant, you'll start seeing some of these options. This first one here opens up the chat window. Okay, this one shows the participants lists. If you have them both open, as a host, you can have more than one thing clicked on. They just fill up on the right hand side and you can move them around or whatever. You can record your meeting. That does go to the default. And once you start recording, you'll notice up here on the right, it does show recording and it shows all the participants that it is being recorded. Now, what I found out, and this is an important thing, if you have the default set to record just content, not participants, you will not see any faces. What you'll see is the shared content, but you will hear all of the voices, including participant voices. Okay, so that's what happens when you do just the shared content. You'll hear your voice. If there's participants and they ask a question, their voice will be there, but not their face, just the audio and anything you share out. Okay, so I'm going to stop this recording here real quick. Stop recording. And so you can kind of see how that worked. Um, and here is the share content option. Okay. So I'm going to click on share content. And you'll notice in this little thing, I can optimize for text and images. If I'm going to display a PowerPoint, share it out. If I'm going to display a web page, share it out. I want to use that. The other one is optimized for motion and video. If I'm going to share a video, whether that be from YouTube or whether that be from my own computer, I want to optimize for motion and video. Okay. And that will enable the audio from my computer to run through to everybody else. And that's important because if you play a video on a web page and you have this setting right here for text and images, your participants will not hear it. If you have it set for motion and video, they'll hear it nice and clear with whatever sound is coming through. Okay. Now I have a couple options. One is to share my screen. I can share my entire screen or a window, or I can share an application. Now you'll notice I have my entire screen, an application window, or a Chrome tab. That's pretty much my only options when I'm running through the web app portion of the meeting. Okay. So I'm going to do a couple things here real quick. Bear with me for 1 second. I'm going to switch over to the desktop app in a second. Switch to desktop app and talk about the other things that you see within the desktop app. Now, the desktop app is a great feature. If you're using your own personal computer, you're going to have no problem installing it. If you're using a school computer, there is a lot of times restrictions on teacher install, and you might have to wait until you have an opportunity to talk to the site tech and have them install. I know with the situation we're in right now, that might not be readily available. So I just wanted to let you know that. So here is the share content feature. And you'll notice now I have a whole bunch of different options. Okay. I have screen one. I have a multiple screen setup, so I can share one or two. I can share either screen. I can share Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, movies and TV, Smart Ink. So anything you have in a smart notebook, you can share out. I can share a file, which means I can share a PowerPoint, a PDF, anything like that. If I click other applications, I'm going to get a variety of pretty much every application that I can start on in the computer on the PC to start up. So I've got a variety of applications that I can share out with him, with whoever's in my meeting. And I can do at the very bottom was a whiteboard option inside this one. The whiteboard lets you as a teacher annotate. Okay, you can put out, you can actually type on it. Okay, and you can draw lines, shapes, um, different colored pins and pencil. There's a pen or pencil tool right here, pen tool or pencil tool, depending upon your line thickness, different colors. And of course, there's the eraser where you can clear all your annotations off. And you can save a whiteboard. So any whiteboard you put out, you can save. Now, you can also do more than one whiteboard and switch back and forth. So this is a great way if you did have to teach a class, share a whiteboard, you can draw up and show math problems or uh, put up notes with text and have that information right there. And then you can save it and get it out to them in Google Classroom as well. So that's kind of a really important feature there is that whiteboard. If I want to close a whiteboard, it's actually up here in this drop down where I just hit the X and close content. Yes, I want to close it. You want to save it, not that one, but that there's my save option where I can save it and share it out. Now, um, inside the desk app, one of the things that I also have up here at the top is a little bit other options. I'm going to invite in myself because I want to show you what happens when it pops up or not. Okay, so I'll invite myself in a minute when I want to show you a couple things. So here is what happens when I'm sharing my screen. So if someone else were in this meeting right now, they'd be seeing my screen the way it is right now. I can pause it. Okay, I can share other things, so I can open up and share a whiteboard or something else, and then go back and forth between my screen and the whiteboard. So you'll notice I can come in here and say, I want to share a whiteboard, and it'll move over to the whiteboard. And now I have that whiteboard open. I can go back to my share content and go back to screen one and be sharing that screen out. So you'll notice that your controls kind of move around depending upon what you are sharing. Okay. I have a place where I can see the chat window. So that I can open that up if I want to see the chat that everyone is using. And you'll notice my chat window is right over here when it's open. So I'll open and close that. I can open and close the participant window. That would show me all of the participants that were in the meeting. And here is the annotation thing that I can open. So not only can I annotate on a whiteboard, but I can actually annotate right on the screen when I'm sharing that content. So I'm going to click this and put an arrow pointer and come here and say that's where you would click start a meeting. Again, I can just throw text up right on the screen. Here is an important link. And I can draw lines, I can draw shapes, I can use the pen tool or the arrow tool with different colors. And again, I can erase all my annotations. So it's a great way to share out information or point out information when you're presenting or have people in a meeting. Okay. And again, I can save those annotations. So I can save that as basically a screenshot at the end of at the time. Okay, so that's in my sharing. I can annotate, and then I have more options. Let me invite myself in here real quick so that you can see a couple things from the host perspective when someone's in. So give me a second. I'm going to join on my other computer. So then you're going to see me twice in the participants list. Start meeting. Okay, And I'm going to close this whiteboard here real quick. Do I want to save it? No. Close that. So now I'm sharing my screen, and you'll notice I now have a participant in there, and I am going to go to the participant list here, and you'll notice I have two people. One of the things participants can do is raise a hand, okay? And it does show up on the host screen. Stop that real quick. Let me put me as the presenter and then come in here as the participant. And it's not going to let me pop up because of the way it's working. On the other screen, there's a little hand shows up, lets you know that someone raised their hand. Okay, so as the host, it will pop up, and it's just because I'm doing this two-person thing, it makes it hard to make that happen because I'm kind of controlling both, and it doesn't like it. So if someone else were in here and they click that raise hand button on my screen, it would say, "Oh, so and so raised their hand." It lets you know someone raised their hand, or it shows up right by their name that their hand is raised, like that, just as a little thing that their hand is up. Okay. The other thing that you'll notice is I have an option to unmute or mute other people. Okay. I also have the option, let me reclaim the host role here real quick, to take a participant doing this double thing is really weird, and move them to the lobby or expel them. And I can kick them out of the meeting, move them to the lobby, puts them in a place where they see a little screen that basically uh, tells them that they're in the lobby and they have to wait to be readmitted. So that if you have a kid that's not behaving, doing something inappropriate, you can simply click on their name, move them to the lobby, or expel them. Okay, or you can chat with them and send just to that person or to everyone in your chat option. So when you're sharing, you do have a lot of different options. One of the cool things that you can do inside a share is a polling. You'll notice notes that does open a little place that you can take notes right here. Kids have that option as well, a little note feature, and the polling. If I click on polling, this opens up the ability to actually ask a why is it not letting me do new? Mm, always got to be some issue. Why won't it let me do polling? Won't let me hit new. Okay. I'm going to drop this one out of the meeting so I get full control back over here. Okay, so polling. Sorry about that. It's that weird. I come in as myself and it messes everything up. I just wanted to show you how that looks with people and what your options are. So I'm going to click new question and I'm going to type in what is your favorite share feature in WebEx, and then I can just add answers, polling, another one, um, video, audio, maximizing, add, sharing, screens, enter. And if I then take this poll and open it up, okay, right here where it says open poll, it now would throw out to any participants these questions and it will show you the results right here. As people answer, the results come in on your screen. How many chose A, how many chose B, how many chose C. So it's a great, again, check for understanding, quick way to look to see if the kid's understanding something. After so long, you can say, hey, I'm closing the poll, and you close it up, and your results are here. You can actually share those poll results out so that everybody sees them if you want to, but you don't have to. And then you can just go to a new poll, or you can close up your polling option here so that it's off of your screen. So that's a cool little feature that's built in to the WebEx meetings for the host, being able to do polling. Okay. A reminder, something I went over on basics, that when you're in a meeting, you want to turn off the anyone can share. You want to turn on and off whatever you want. You're assigning privileges. You can see how this looks. Whether or not everyone can chat or communicate with other participants. You know, if I'm doing with kids, I'd probably turn that off. And whether or not they can annotate. These become the whether or not they can share things. Those become the settings for that particular meeting. So you want to set that up before people start coming in. Once you start the meeting, go in and change those things, get everything ready for whatever it is you're doing. Realize that you can change inside the meeting at any time. If you want one kid to annotate, you can click on their name, give them annotation privileges, or allow them to share or control the meeting at any point. So you can change that at any point in the meeting once you're going. Okay. The important thing is deciding what is the intent of your meeting. What is it you hope to accomplish as you're going through, so you have everything ready and you know what you need. Do you need a file that you're going to share? Do you need are you going to use a whiteboard? Do you want to get a PowerPoint ready that you want to share out? You'll notice at this point, the one thing that I find frustrating on my end is that there's not a lot of Google crossover. There's a little bit more Microsoft crossover with WebEx. There's not as much Google crossover. Hopefully, it will find its way over. But realize anything you've done on Google Slides, you can download as a PowerPoint. You can download a sheet, make it an Excel file. You can download Doc, make it a PDF or a Word file, and share it that way. So anything you've already done, you can still use. It's just a matter of bringing it down, making it easily accessible for this particular program. Okay. Um, so again, that's kind of all of your share options. I remember saying in the basics that your share options are a little different for the desktop app than the web app. And again, it depends on what your intentions of that meeting. What do you need to accomplish with that meeting? My next video is going to be on WebEx training, which again has different features, different things it can do, give the host a little bit more control on some things. But the big difference there is the breakout rooms and some other options with yes and no results kind of things where you can do quicker check for understandings and things like that. So that would be a great program if your intention is to start doing breakout groups or need more polling activities for students. So this one's about shared content. Hopefully that helps you out and gives you some idea on how that works.